Welcome! Today, we are tracking three huge signals that have popped up in just the last 24 hours. We're talking a massive reshuffle in AI, the financial system getting a brand new brain, and a major power play in global trade. So, let's dive right in.
You know, every single day we are just hammered with information, right? It's a total fire hose. Well, this explainer is designed to cut right through all that. We're tapping into a 24-hour feed of global data from OneSys to find the patterns that are hiding in plain sight and connect the dots that actually matter. And what we found today are three major signals that are all connected. We're seeing a huge pivot of money and talent towards AI, we're seeing a complete rewiring of our financial systems, and a strategic, kind of sneaky, rebalancing of global trade. Let's break them down. Okay, first up, the great AI reshuffle. And listen, this isn't just some trend, this is a massive global reallocation of capital and brainpower towards artificial intelligence. And it's creating some really fascinating new problems.
You want to see one of the clearest signals out there? Just look at Meta. They are very publicly shifting gears, moving people, money, and all their focus away from their huge bet on the metaverse and pointing all of it directly at the AI arms race.
So this number, around 1,500 jobs cut from Meta's VR division, this is what's really interesting. It's not just another layoff story in the headlines. No, this is a financial signal. It's the hard data showing capital and talent literally being moved from one huge bet, the metaverse, to what they see as an even bigger one, AI.
And this slide really lays out the global tug-of-war in that AI race. You've got the US on one side using policy, right? They're controlling access to advanced chip designs as a strategic weapon. But on the other side, China is slamming into a much more physical, a much more basic problem, literally not having enough electricity to power all their massive AI data centers.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The future of AI, it turns out, isn't just about clever code or even faster chips anymore. The real fight, the new bottleneck, is becoming all about physical infrastructure, power grids, electricity generation, actual, tangible stuff.
All right, let's move on to our second theme. We're going to see how this exact same AI trend is completely shaking up the world of finance, especially over in the UK.
I mean, just look at that number, 16 million. This isn't some small-scale pilot program we're talking about. 16 million banking customers are about to get AI-powered financial advice. It just shows you the incredible scale AI is being deployed at on the consumer side.
So for you, for the customer, the benefit is pretty obvious. It's kind of like having a personal financial advisor right in your pocket, using AI to check out your spending habits and give you advice that's actually useful and tailored to you.
But there is, of course, another side to this coin. For the big institutions, the focus is all on security and surveillance. You have the London Stock Exchange Group, for instance, launching these incredibly powerful new AI tools. And they're designed specifically to hunt down market abuse and complex financial crimes. So AI is becoming both your guide and the guard.
Now for our third signal. This one points to a really deep, fundamental shift in how global trade works, with China sitting right at the center of all this change.
This chart, wow, this chart tells such an interesting story. You could call it decoupling with rebalancing. Just look at the contrast, right? China just smashed its record for an annual trade surplus. We're talking nearly $1.2 trillion. But at the exact same time, its exports to the US fell by 20%. So they're exporting more stuff than ever, just not to the same old places.
Now, to really get what China is up to, you have to understand this one key idea: feedstock security. Basically, it's a national strategy to control the raw materials you need for your key industries, but by using what you have at home, like tons and tons of coal, instead of relying on imports from other countries like oil.
And here's the playbook for how they're doing it. The plan is to build dozens of new plants to turn their own coal into the chemical building blocks for things like plastics and synthetic rubber. Now, this isn't just some industrial policy. It's a huge strategic move to insulate their entire economy from the crazy ups and downs of global energy markets.
Okay, so we've seen the high-level strategy, the big picture. But how does all that stuff actually translate to what happens on the ground? Let's look at one last set of signals, what governments are actually spending their money on day in and day out.
So if you peek at the US government shopping list, it's all about the real economy. We're seeing spending on things like emergency repairs to infrastructure. You know, chillers in prisons, fire safety, healthcare backup plans. The signal here is a big focus on keeping things at home running smoothly and being ready for anything. Meanwhile,
Over in the UK, the spending signals a totally different set of priorities. There's a huge focus on new IT systems for border control, tools to make the public sector more efficient, and critical upgrades to hospitals. It's really a picture of a country focused on modernizing its core internal systems.
And this slide shows how those different priorities turn into actual policy, and it's fascinating. You see two very different ways of dealing with disruptive tech. In New York, the government is giving a green light, right? They're building a legal framework so robo-taxis can operate across the state. But in the UK, the government's hitting the brakes on mandatory digital IDs, showing they're maybe a little more cautious about public pushback.
So here's the crucial point, the real takeaway from all this. A layoff at a tech company, a new app from your bank, a single trade statistic. If you look at them by themselves, they're just noise, right? They're random headlines. But when you start to connect the dots, you see they are actually clear data points, clear signals of these massive global shifts we've been talking about.
So today's signals really do paint a clear picture of a world that is being fundamentally reshaped by this race for AI, by the creation of brand new financial plumbing, and by the redrawing of our global trade maps. And as these huge trends speed up, the question really is, what's the signal you're going to be watching for tomorrow?